Hello students, how are you? I hope you all are fit and fine and proper health. So in today's class, we're gonna talk about a fresh unit, that is Unit 4, Our Universe. Okay, so in this chapter 7, matter and its states, we're gonna talk about. Okay, so there are some inside the chapter points. So the first one is defining matter. Second one, states of matter, solid, gas, liquid. Third one, changes from one state of matter to another. Fourth one, sublimation and solution. Okay, so step by step we're going to study this chapter. So the first and foremost thing it is saying that we notice many objects around us. They are different from one another in shape, size, color and texture. So basically we notice many type of things around us, and they are like different from one another. They are totally different from one another in shape, size, color and texture. Okay, so for example, you can say that there is a board. Okay, you can say like there is a blackboard, whiteboard, green board and all. Okay, so they are the board one only, but they are having the different color. Okay, now you can take the example of book, a pencil. Pencil shape is different, texture is different, color is different, and the book shape, color, texture, all the things are different. Okay, all objects has two properties in common. So basically all objects has two properties in common. So the first one is all objects occupy some space. All objects occupy some kind of space. So that one is common. And your computer takes up space on the desk. You take up space on the chair. The amount of space on object occupies is called its volume. Okay, so basically when you put your computer on the table, on the desk, okay, so at that time period, the computer which is on the desk, okay, it is also covering up that amount of space. Okay, and you are sitting on the chair in front of that computer. You are sitting on the chair, and you are also covering up the space, okay, on that chair. So the amount of space on that object, on that particular object, is called its volume. Okay, the amount of space on the object occupies volume. Okay, now the next one is that, as you can see in this figure also, here the chair is there, iron is on the table, jug is on the table, there is bus, there is car, there is a window, there is flower vase on this cupboard. Okay, so basically they are also covering up the space. Okay, now first point is matter. So it is saying objects that occupy space and have weight are called matter. Okay, so objects that occupy space and it also have some kind of weight are called matter. Okay, like for example us, we are sitting on the chair, we are occupying the space, we are having the weight. Okay, so we are also in this matter. Okay, everything around us is made up of matter. Chocolate and cake are made up of matter. You are also made up of matter. Matter is made of tiny particles called atoms. Okay, so basically it is saying that everything around you is made up of matter. Okay, even like your pencil, pen, your favorite chocolate, okay, your TV, etc., and you also are made up of matter. Okay, so matter is what? Matter is made up of some tiny particles, and that tiny particles is known as atoms. Little tiny particles are known as atoms. Okay, here you can see the boy is working in front of the computer. So he is also occupying space and volume. Weight also is there. Okay, and he is also comes under the category of matter. Okay. Now the next one is some matters like gold, platinum and carbon are able to exist alone. So there are some matter like gold, platinum and carbon. They exist, they are able to exist alone, like individually. Okay, and this means that they do not combine with any other atom. This means they do not combine with any other atom, like they don't want to make their team with any other atom. They just want to work independently and individually and all. Okay. However, some atoms are so active that they are usually found combined with other atoms of the same kind to form a molecule. Whereas there are some friendly type of atoms which want to combine with other, okay, which want to get friendly, which want to socialize with others. You can say that they are having that extrovert type of nature. They want to combine with others, they want to socialize and help others and also get help in return. Okay, so atoms of hydrogen, oxygen and chlorine combine to form the molecules of hydrogen, oxygen and chlorine respectively. So basically these atoms of hydrogen, oxygen and chlorine, they combine to form the molecules of hydrogen, oxygen and chlorine. Okay, so basically they are combining with other atoms of the same kind only. Okay, like for example, hydrogen is combining with its molecule of hydrogen only. Okay, so here you can see the picture also, the tiny particles in atoms, atoms, the little tiny particles you can see in this picture. Okay, so it is saying some matters are formed of molecules containing different atoms. So there are some matter which are formed by containing different atoms, containing the molecules of different atoms. Okay, for example, water is made up of 2 atoms of hydrogen and 1 atom of oxygen. So basically water is made up of 2 atoms of hydrogen and 1 atom of oxygen. Okay, so that means it is combining the different hydrogen oxygen element in it. Okay, and molecules in it. So here you can see that 2 atoms of hydrogen plus 1 atom of oxygen equals to 1 molecule of water. Okay, so here it is given that 2 atoms of hydrogen mixes with the 1 atom of oxygen and it make up what? It makes the water. Okay, now the next point, states of matter. States of matter. Here in this point, all matter is made up of small particles. These particles are arranged in different ways in solid, liquid and gases. Okay, so in this states of matter, all matter is made up of some small particles, some small particles, and these particles are arranged in 3 forms, that is solid, liquid and gases. Okay, so we're going to talk in step-by-step ways. So the first one is solids. In a solid state, a matter has a defined shape and it takes up a definite amount of space. Okay, so in a solid state, a matter has a defined shape and it takes up a definite amount of space. Okay, if there is a tiny type of particle, like small, for example, your eraser, so it is a tiny one. Okay, it is a tiny part of matter and it is also in solid state and it is also defining its amount of space, and that means it also occupies some kind of space, whether it is a little one, smaller space it occupies, or the bigger one, but that eraser occupies a smaller space. Okay, so that eraser is what? It is also a solid particle. So in this state, matter has molecules that are very close to each other. So it is saying that in this solid state, matter has molecules which are closely packed to each other, like they are closely packed to each other. Okay, like for example, they are like hugging each other at that period of time. Okay, is in this state. Okay, in the example also, in this figure you can see the solid, the rock is given here. Okay, now come to the next one, that is liquid. In a liquid state, a matter does not have a defined shape, but it takes up a definite amount of space. So basically in liquid state, like for example water, in this the matter does not have a defined shape. It doesn't contain its own defined shape, but yes, it takes up a definite amount of space. Okay, it takes up a definite amount of space. Like the water, you can take the example of water. So water can take the space, like take the shape in any form. If you put in glass, it take the shape of the glass. Okay, if you put in the spoon, it take the shape of the spoon. Okay, so it is not having its own defined shape, but it is taking the definite amount of space. Okay, if you put it in the bottle, it take the shape of the bottle. Okay, so in this state, there is a little space between the molecules. These molecules are able to slide past each other. This makes a liquid to flow. So if we compare liquid to solid, in solid the particles are very much closely packed. Okay, but in this liquid, the particles are having little spaces. In solid, there are no space in between the particles, but in liquid, there are little spaces are there. Okay, so that the liquid can easily flow. Like it can easily take place take the defined shape of each and every object. Okay, that's why it is taking the shape of like when put in the bottle, it take the shape of the bottle. When put in the glass, it take the shape of the glass. When put in the spoon, it take the shape of the spoon. Okay, now here comes some interesting point, that is keeping update. It is saying our body contains about 70% water. So our human body contains about 70% water. In this image also you can see the picture from the jug. From this jug, the water is poured into glass. So when the water was in jug, okay, it was taking the shape of the jug, and when the water is poured into the glass, it is taking the shape of the glass. Okay, and it is in the flowing state. Okay, and the spaces, like little spaces they are present. And now here comes the next part, that is gases. So the third one, gases. In a gaseous state, a matter does not have a definite shape, and it does not take up a definite amount of space. So basically in gaseous form, in gases form, the matter does not have a definite shape, and it also does not take the definite amount of space. Okay, it is freely flowing and all. Okay, as compared to the other two one, like from the solid and liquid, when we compare the gaseous form is having very much space, and also the particles are loosely packed. Okay, on squeezing a balloon, you can change the shape of air in it. Gas takes the shape of its container. Okay, so it is saying that on squeezing a balloon, when you squeeze a balloon, you can change the shape of it. There is a kind of toy also, that balloon one, that you can change the shape of it. Okay, and gases take the shape of the container itself. Okay, like in the cylinder also, you can take the example of cylinder. There is also gas present, and it is taking the shape of that one only. Okay, so in a gas, the molecules are much further apart than in solid or liquid. As I said earlier, that the molecules are further apart in a gas as compared to the solid and liquid one. Okay, here you can see the example given, the picture is given, gas one. Okay, when you are cooking the food and all. Now, it is saying the molecules of a gas can easily spread through all the space in a container. So basically, the molecules in the gas one are easily spread out. Okay, they are like loosely packed, and there is lots of space in that, in gaseous state. Okay, now we're going to talk about some other topic, that is changes from one state of matter to another. So how the one state of matter changes to another. Okay, so matter can exist in more than one form. Matter can take place in more than one form. Water exists in all three forms, that is solid, liquid and gas. When there is a change in temperature, one state of water can be changed into another state. So basically it is saying that we can change one state of matter to another one. Okay, like matter are present in three forms: solid, liquid and gaseous form. Okay, when there is a change in temperature, one state of water can be changed into another state of water itself. So next it is saying when temperature is as low as 0 degrees Celsius, the liquid water takes the shape of ice, which is solid state of water. So basically, when you keep the water in the temperature of as low as like 0 degrees Celsius, then that liquid water takes the shape of the ice. And ice is what? Ice is the solid state of matter. Okay. Like for example, when you put some water in that ice tray and put it in the refrigerator, and after some time you see that you got the ice cubes. Okay, so the ice cubes are what? They are the solid state of matter, solid state of water. And next it is saying this process is called freezing. This process is known as freezing. When you freeze that water, then here it is saying when ice is heated, it changes into water. This process is called melting. So when you heat the ice, or when you take out the ice and after some time you see that it changes into water, so that process is known as melting. The ice melt up and it just changes into the liquid state. So from the solid it changes into the liquid state. Okay. When water is boiled at high temperature, it changes into water vapors. This process is called evaporation. So when you heat up, first of all, when you just freeze that water, it became ice, and that process was known as freezing. Okay, then after that you take out that ice cube, and after some period you see that it melts out. It performs the process of melting, and the water from the ice, from the solid state, it turns into the liquid state. And then you are boiling that same water, you are boiling that liquid, and when you boil that liquid, that process is known as evaporation, where the water changes into the gaseous form. Okay, evaporate. Okay, became the water vapor. So if steam is cooled, it changes in water. This process is called condensation. So it is saying that when you the gaseous form, the steam, when the steam get cooled, it changes into water. So in this, the gaseous state is changed into the liquid one. Okay, the gaseous state is changing into the liquid one, and this process is known as what? This process is known as condensation. Okay. Here you can see the cycle going on, water cycle going on. First of all, in this river area, the water get heat up, and it is performing the process of evaporation. And then after that, the clouds are formed, and clouds are formed by what type of process? That is condensation. And then after some time period, when the clouds hit, when the cloud are moving slowly and hit the mountain area, then at that time they just pour down the raindrops, and that process is known as precipitation. Okay, and then that water, that rainwater, goes directly into the river. So this water cycle goes on continuously. Okay, going on continuously. Now the next point is scientific updation. So it is saying molecules are made up of smaller particles called atoms. Molecules are made up of smaller particles called atoms. Okay. Next one is sublimation. So what is this sublimation? When iodine is heated, the purple colored fumes of iodine are absorbed. So when you heat iodine, when you heat the iodine, the purple colored fumes of iodine are absorbed there. Okay, and this means that iodine, which is a solid, directly turns into the gaseous form on heating. This process is called sublimation. So here it is saying that when you heat up that iodine, that purple colored fumes of iodine are absorbed there. Okay, so that means the iodine, which was solid in state, which was in like solid matter, it directly turns into the gaseous form. It is not turning into the liquid form first. It is solid is directly turning into the gaseous form. Okay, by heating. Okay, so this process is known as sublimation. Okay, so in the evaporation we saw that the liquid turns into the gaseous form. Okay, it just evaporates. And in the condensation we saw that the steam when cooled down, it becomes into the liquid category, and that is known as the condensation. But here in sublimation, what we see, the solid is directly changing into the gaseous form. Okay, so the iodine is directly changing into the purple fumes. okay, which are going into the gaseous state, okay, air only, and that is known as sublimation. So in this figure also you can see sublimation process. So here you can see cotton is there, inverted funnel is there, perforated asbestos sheet is there, okay, perforated asbestos sheet is there, and this asbestos, that it is present in some kind of talcum powder and all, okay, and there is also mixture given, and there is sublimate given. So here the solid turns into the gaseous form, okay, fumes are forming, so that means it is performing the process of sublimation. Now we're gonna see about solution. So what is this? When sugar is stirred in water, it dissolves. Here sugar is said to be soluble, okay. So it is saying that when sugar is stirred in water, it dissolves. Here sugar is said to be soluble in water. Soluble in water. When a solid dissolves in a liquid, it forms a solution. When a solid dissolves in liquid, forms a solution. Sugar in this case is a solute and water is a solvent. Okay. So it is saying that in this solution, the solid turned directly into the liquid form. Solid turns directly into the liquid form, and this is a solution, like it is dissolving itself. The solid is dissolving itself in the liquid form. That is known as solution. Okay, here also we can see when you put some salt or sugar in the water, okay, then you continuously stir it, and after some time you see that the sugar particles or salt particles got invisible, okay, became invisible, and they just dissolved in it. They just dissolved in the water, and you can taste the water, feel that taste, that yes, this water is sweet, that means the sugar is totally dissolved in this water. This water is salty, that means the salt is totally dissolved in the water, okay. And in this the sugar or salt is known as solute. Sugar and salt which are going to be dissolved is known as solute, and water, the liquid, is known as solvent, which is dissolving something inside it, is known as solvent, okay. Now we come to the another one. Here also you can see they are dissolving the salt and sugar, okay. Now the another one is saying solids dissolves in liquid. It is saying solids dissolves in liquid, okay. Sugar is a solid and water is a liquid. So sugar is what? Sugar is solid and water is a liquid, okay. When a solid sugar dissolves in a liquid water to form a solution, such a solution is called a solid in liquid solution, okay. When a sugar or salt particles which are solid in shape, matter, okay, they dissolves in liquid, that is water, to form a solution, okay, and that solution is known as what? That solution is known as solid in liquid solution. Solid which was in liquid solution, that means the sugar or salt in water solution, in liquid solution, okay. Here in the figure also you can see that. Now it is saying the level of water in the beginning and at the end of the activity remain the same. This is because the sugar molecules do not take up extra space but fit into the space between the water molecules. So you are also assuming or thinking that when we add sugar or when we add salt in the liquid, in water, then it may increase the size of that liquid, or it may increase the volume of that liquid, but no, it is not gonna happen that one. Why? Because that solid particle, that sugar and salt particle, they take up the space of that liquid particle, okay. They are taking, because we earlier we studied now that liquid is having some kind of space is there. It is not the solid type. Liquid is having some kind of space, so that space is filled by which particle? That space is filled by this salt or sugar particle when they are dissolving in the water. So that means they are not at all increasing the size of water. The size is remaining the same, okay. They are just fitting into that space, okay. Then it is saying an eraser is insoluble in water. So when you want to mix the eraser in, like, first of all you just cut into the thin pieces, small pieces, and you are going to mix the eraser in water, it is not going to dissolve, okay. it is insoluble in water, it takes up some space. So basically that eraser will takes up some space. Okay, so there is a rise in the level of water in the measuring jar when an eraser is put in it. So basically when you put an eraser in the water, it increases the size of the water, and when you measure it, then you can see that the size is increased. For example, you are familiar with that story, na, crow story, thirsty crow story, where the thirsty crow saw the pot but the water is very much down. Then it do what kind of thing? It just put the that little small stone particles inside it. Okay, when that crow put that small stone particles inside that pot, the water level rises up. Okay, that means it is increasing the space now. Okay, that means it is increasing that space. Okay, taking the space. Okay, so the water rises up and the thirsty crow drank that water and then flew away. Okay, so it is also telling that the rocks are not insoluble in water and it is taking up the space. Okay, now there is some point that is scientific updation. So it is saying liquids can flow easily and are called fluids. So liquids are that type of matter which flow easily, okay, and are called fluid. Okay, now the next one is liquids dissolve in liquids. So it is saying liquid dissolves in liquid. So when milk is added to water, at first the color of the milk spreads slowly in the water. After stirring, the color spreads uniformly. This is because milk is completely soluble in water. Here both water and milk are liquids, hence their solution their solution take place. Okay, so basically it is saying that liquid dissolves in liquid. For example, the milk, when you mix some water in milk, or you wanna mix some milk in the water, okay, then that milk spreads slowly in water. It just spreads slowly in water, and when you just stir that one, the color spreads deeply in the water. Okay, the color spreads uniformly, and this is because milk is completely soluble in water, because that milk is also in liquid state. So when you mix that milk, it got completely soluble in water. Okay, so here both water and milk are what? They are liquids. Okay, and some, like, we also mix some water in curd, okay, to increase its volume and all, and also to make it very much based on your taste. Okay, and so it is also saying that the liquid is mixed up with the liquid only. Okay, now here comes the next point, quenching the scientific thirst. So it is saying there are about 90 naturally occurring elements, and scientists have been able to make about 25 more. So it is saying that there are about 90 naturally occurring elements, and scientists have been able to make up about 25 more. Okay, so scientists are researching and making about 25 more elements. And now comes the next point. So in the next point, it is saying gases dissolve in liquid. Okay, first one was what? First we saw that solid dissolves in liquid. Okay, next one was liquid dissolves in liquid. Now here comes the gases dissolves in liquid. Okay, so when we open a soda can, you will observe bubbles of gases coming out of the soda. These are bubbles of a gas called carbon dioxide. This shows that soda is a liquid with a gas dissolved in it, hence it is an example of a gas in liquid solution. So basically when we open a soda can, you will observe bubbles of gases coming out of that soda. Okay, coming out of that soda, and these are the bubble of gases called carbon dioxide. These bubbles, these gas is known as carbon dioxide one, and this shows that the soda in a liquid with a gas dissolved in it. This shows that soda is basically a liquid and it is having gases dissolved in it. Okay, so we can say, hence we can say that it is an example of a gas in liquid in state. Okay, gas in liquid solution. It is an example of gas in liquid solution. Here in the figure also you can see the liquid and the carbon dioxide particles over there, CO2, that is carbon dioxide pressure released, and carbon dioxide bubbles which are forming inside that liquid one, okay, out of the solution. So now we're going to talk about the next point, that is one step ahead. One step ahead, it is saying the smallest particle of an element has the same properties that of the element. So basically the smallest particle of an element, it has the same property of that element, of the element. Okay. Now here are some scientific terms. So the first one is definite. It is saying certain and sure. Okay. Iodine, an element whose solution is used to treat wounds. Okay. Iodine, an element whose solution used to treat wounds. And stirring, to shake vigorously. Okay, like you stir the sugar in that liquid one. Okay. Soda, and aerated water which is having, you know, gases, carbon dioxide gas. And volume, space occupied by matter, that is known as volume. And now we're gonna study the points of that chapter at a glance. First one is atoms combine together to form molecules. Matter exists in three states, solid, liquid and gas. Matter exists in three states, solid, liquid and gas. Okay. Anything that occupy space and has weight is called matter. Okay. Matter is made up of atoms. Matter can be changed from one form to another by heating or cooling. So matter can be changed from one point to another by heating or cooling. Okay. Some solids can be dissolved in liquids. Some liquids can be dissolved in other liquids. Okay. And some gases can be dissolved in liquids. So now we're going to do some exercise. So the first one is fill in the blanks, and the first question is all matter take up some dash and has some dash. Okay. So all matter take up what? Is it like atoms? Is it molecule? Or is it space, weight? It is space and weight. So all matter take up some space and has some weight. Okay. Now the second one, matter is made up of small particles, and that is called dash. That is known as atoms. So you have to write atoms there. Okay. Next is atoms put together form a dash. Atoms put together form a dash. That is molecule. So you have to write molecule in this blank. Okay. Then the next one is matter exists as dash. It is in three form. Okay. It is, yes, it is solid, liquid and gas. So you have to write solid, liquid and gas in the blank. Now comes the favorite one, that is matching patching. So in this, column A is given and column B is given. So the first one is water. So water should be matched with what, like is in like sugar in water, boil to form steam, gas in liquid solution, liquid in liquid solution, or loosely packed molecules. So water is matched with loosely packed molecules. Okay. Now come to the next one, that is condensation. Here what we see that from the gas it turns into liquid solution. So it will be matched with gas in liquid solution. Okay. Gas in liquid solution. Okay. In this condensation, you will match it with boil to form steam. Okay. In the condensation, you will match with boil to form steam, and that from that steam, when the steam cool down, then it form the liquid state. Okay. So the condensation will be matched with boil to form steam. Okay. Now comes the next one, that is milk plus water. Milk is also liquid, water is also liquid. So that means liquid in liquid solution. Okay. So just match with liquid in liquid solution. Then comes the solution part. So in this, it will match with sugar in water. Solution means when you dissolve something in water. So it will match with sugar in water. Okay. Next come the last one, that is soda water, and it is gas in liquid solution. Okay, so this soda water is gas which is present in the liquid solution. Okay, now come to the next one, that is give one word answer. So the first question is things that occupy space and have weight. Okay, things that occupy space and have weight is known as matter. So you have to write matter in this blank. Okay, next one is matter having definite shape and volume. Matter having definite shape and volume also. Okay, and here the particles are closely packed. That means its state. You have to write state solid here. Okay, so matter having definite shape and volume, the answer is solid. So you have to write solid state here. And then third one, the solid which on heating gives purple fumes. Okay, the solid when you heat it, it form the purple fumes. That is the iodine solid. Okay, and what type of process it is performing? It is performing sublimation. Okay, here the solid, that is iodine, change into the purple fume. So the answer should be iodine there. Okay, and then an example of gas dissolved in a liquid. Gas which is dissolved in a liquid. Okay, so gas which is dissolved in a liquid, you can give the example of, soda one, soda water. Here the gas is CO2, that is carbon dioxide, which is dissolved in a liquid. Okay, now next one is a solid which can flow like liquids. A solid which can flow like liquids. Okay, so here you can give the example of, like ice, which when you just melt it, when the process of melting done, then after that it just flow like liquid. Okay, so you can give the example of ice cube here. Okay, now come to the next part, that is the MCQ one. So the first question is, which are the main states of matter? So which are the main states of matter? Is it liquid, gas, solid, or all of these? So all of these are the main states, solid, liquid, and gases. So just tick in the all of these one. Okay, so in the second one, see it again, like what are the forms of water? It is asking what are the forms of water. It is not asking like water comes in which type of state. It is asking like water in present in all these forms, solid, liquid, and gases. Yes, it is present solid, liquid, and gases. Okay, like we can take the example of ice only. The ice which is in solid one, it is the form of water only. Okay, but it is in solid form, and it got melted and then become liquid, and liquid is also in that it is also that water one, and then that liquid when you heat up, it then turn into the gaseous form. Okay, so yes, we can say that this is all of these. Okay, now next one, take the correct statement. So the first one is saying molecules are close in gas. So it is saying that molecules are closely packed in gas. This statement is wrong. Molecules in gas are linked to each other. It is saying molecule in gas are linked to each other. No, this is also wrong. Molecules in gas are scattered. Yes, this statement is right. Molecules in gases are scattered. And last option, it is saying all of these. How can it be all of these? So the answer is C1. Just tick that one. Next is, which state of matter does not flow freely? Which state of matter does not flow freely? Is it solid, liquid, or gas? Liquid and gas can move freely and flow freely, but not solid. Okay, so solid does not flow freely. So as we have studied the states of matter, and you got the knowledge about this matter, and also got the knowledge that you are also made up of this matter only. So study this chapter thoroughly, and also do exercises, and also perform an activity and see how the ice changes into 3 forms, into 3 states. Okay, till then student, take care, bye bye.